So from what I can understand, and by the way, for those who are just tuning in for the first time, we've done this a long time. Let's give everybody a little history lesson because we've got some. We've got some. What's the terminology that I can't think of what
like
I
our seasons, seasons of our show.
Yeah.
This is the 4th year that we've been doing Mortgage
Legacy.
101.
Legacy is what I was
Legacy,
looking for.
and we have a lot of content out there. I don't think probably anyone across this country has done more hours of radio talking about mortgage lending than you or I have.
Probably on the planet.
You know what? I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it as well.
Someday, maybe we'll be in the Guinness Book of World Records with, the most talk radio about mortgage lending.
There you go. So what do we talk about? Just for people who want to know if they want to tune in for the rest of the hour, what can they expect?
We talk about mortgage lending. We talk about real estate. We talk about things that are in the news that are, impacting you and me, really.
Yeah.
Mortgage lending is one of the most nuancey things I think that's out there. It's very daunting for a lot of people.
Yep.
And there's, a lot of moving parts.
Especially now with so much going on, right? With housing. Yeah. This has become one of the hottest topics in Canada.
You know what? And it's a topic that impacts everyone, Todd.
Yeah.
It's not it's not just the poor that it's impacting. It's not just the rich. It's not the middle class. Everyone is impacted by really what's going on with the real estate market and what's going on with the federal government, what happens with the banks and the Bank of Canada. Everyone is impacted in some way. And, I don't think anyone's talked about mortgage lending as much as, we have lately, but it's in the media every day.
Every day, yeah.
And, for us, we're involved because, we're obviously in the media and we're obviously very involved with mortgage lending. But it's getting the conversation started, which I think is really, really cool.
Well, before we get to that, you had quite an accolade recently, in all seriousness. Why don't you tell everybody about it? I know that you are very modest and don't want to share this wonderful news with the audience, but force yourself to let everybody know, how incredible you are.
When I was listening to the promo of the show, I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool. We can certainly talk about the Canadian Mortgage Awards. We refer to them as the CMAs. And some people are like, oh my goodness, you're going to, the Canadian Mortgage Awards, or you're going to the Country Music Awards. But it's actually the Canadian Mortgage Awards. And it was hosted in Toronto, just over a week ago.
Quite a gala?
It was quite a gala. There was 1,000 people. And I have not been to an event like that, obviously, in a couple of years.
Yeah, because of the pandemic.
Even like pre-pandemic, to go to an event with 1,000 people is really pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I've been to the CMAs 3 or 4 times before, and this was certainly the biggest one. And I was nominated in a category of Mortgage Broker of the Year for Atlantic. I thought I might have been a bit of a shoo-in because I was named Canadian Mortgage Broker of the Year twice before for the country. Yeah. They used to only have one award, and the award was for Mortgage Broker of the Year under 25 employees, and they used to have another award that was Mortgage Broker of the Year 25 employees or more. And I'd won in the under 25 category, obviously. We have a relatively small team here. Yeah. And, the last year I sat it out because, I had won 3 years in a row. And, I'd like to give somebody else the chance. And this year they started this new category of these regional awards. I'm like, you know what? It could be cool to win, in Atlantic Canada. I already know that we do a great job, Todd, but it's nice to be, recognized in a room of your peers. Mm-hmm. What we didn't know, or what maybe I didn't know, being oblivious and in my own little world of mortgage lending all day, every day, these regional awards rolled up to a national award. So the winners of all of the regional awards then were in a category for basically the entire country.
Yes.
And the night continues on. We have a couple.
Were you drinking?
A couple glasses of Moet.
Were you drinking?
Yeah, I think we had a couple drinks.
Okay. Did you have a buzz?
Yeah, I was probably feeling pretty good. I'll show you the video here after Jonathan did a little snippet of the video.
You always get a buzz at these events. You get all folksy.
It's the nerves. And
you kind of start smoozing around the room, and you get get that sway going on.
It's people you haven't seen in a couple years, right? And I won the regional award. I'm like, I thought it was between me and there was one other guy. There was this mortgage broker over in Newfoundland, and he's really, really good. I respect him a lot. And, everyone in the category were very respectable mortgage brokers.
Yes.
I obviously know what we do, and it's not just radio that we do. I do some TV stuff. I wrote a book about mortgage lending. I do a lot of coaching, and I'm really involved with our national professional organization as well. I thought we probably had a very good chance of, winning the regional one. So that happened. And after I won the original one, I'm like, you know what? This national award might be in sight, even though I had no idea it was actually even a thing. And there was a winner in each region. And the winner in Ontario, who I know and actually used to work under our Centum banner, I knew she was very good. And I thought, you know what? If anyone's going to be winning, it's either going to be me or it's going to be her. Mm-hmm. And, Ontario in some ways is the epicenter of Canada. Our listeners in Ottawa are obviously in the nation's capital, which is in the province of Ontario. And there is a world outside of Ontario, and obviously that's why we're here, and that's why you're probably listening to us live on the air. And, in Halifax, there's obviously a lot of really good things on the go. I think to even win on a regional level is really, really exciting. But when that national award came up and, I saw that obviously I was nominated for that based on winning in Atlantic, I thought, you know what? I can put Halifax on the map again. And before, it was almost like I was the underdog. It was the underdog winning against, a country of very seasoned mortgage brokers. I mean, I've been doing this for 16 years. There are some people who have been in the industry for 30 and 40 years that I was competing against. And I didn't compete on the amount of transactions that we did or the amount of volume that we did. I was able to compete on the thought leadership. I was able to compete on, leadership within our team, our clients, media, stuff like that. So I think that was really exciting. And when I won the award for the country, I got up and I'm like, I would not be here if it wasn't for my team, our clients, our business partners. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be here because it takes a village. And I know as cliche that might be, I may show up and I may do a lot of transactions, but I have a lot of support. I have support right here locally in the office. We're doing our recording right now. Yes. And we have obviously one of our amazing team members here working, and we're working into the evening. So
I told her she could leave.
I know, and guess what? She wanted to stay and listen to the first segment of our show.
I still say she should go.
I think she probably will after this. Just to wrap up this award thing.
Yep.
To win a national award from Halifax means something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think obviously it means a lot to me and my team and to Halifax and to Atlantic Canada. But to win from Halifax, I think is really something that's special. And I'm not saying that we are the be-all and end-all of mortgage lending. I'm not. But I think what we do is different. I think it's unique. And, obviously that's been recognized on the national level. And, part of our corporate group, we went out for some drinks after the awards, mm-hmm. As we do, to celebrate.
Yeah.
And, he asked me, he's like, what is next for you? You know what I think is next?
What's next? An international award?
No. I think what's next is maintaining what we have, Todd. Yeah. I think sometimes people want more and more and more and more, but sometimes it's good to be where you're at and maintain and be consistent. And I think that's kind of where we're at.
All right. We want more and more as well, but we need a break first. So we'll be right back. Mortgage 101, your guide to homeownership.